All right, guys, out here at the campus of North Carolina Wesleyan for this first look at the Battling Bishops in our Bishops Corner segment. Second-year head coach of the football program, Jeff Filkovski, joining us today. Coach, we were talking a little bit before we went on camera here. You guys are in the midst of a summer workout program on their own.
Yeah. Certainly, as I explained to you, the difference between us and Division I is, Division I, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, they get to keep their guys through the summertime and have them work out on campus. The difference is at Division III, I want my guys to go home and, be with family, and not only that, work a little bit, make some money so they can pay for their education here. And certainly we trust that they're out there doing their off-season program that we gave them before they left.
Well, second year with the program, last year, 2-8 campaign, 2-5 in conference play. Building on that this season, what are you looking for? What are you looking to maybe implement with these guys that you weren't able to last year? Being a first-year head coach, obviously that's very difficult.
Yeah, and certainly year two is normally better than year one. Certainly getting to know the players, the skill sets, the integrity, the character, the different things that come along with football. Are important, and now I get a gauge of being with them, and last year was kind of a whirlwind, trying to figure out who was a player, who's not a player, and trying to win football games at the same time, and progressively throughout the year, offensively, I believe we got a lot better. We figured out who our tools were and where our skills were, who to tailor the game to, and we're excited on that side of the football. Certainly on defense, we got a lot of work to do, but we got a lot of young guys, as you mentioned, that have played a lot of football for us as freshmen and sophomores, and they're only going to get better as the years progress. And that's the one thing, as we mentioned, year one to year two, you can only get better in college athletics a year at a time. I mean, you can only get older. And it takes a year until you can be 19, 20, 21, and we need to grow up a little bit.
Well, one of those guys that was really one of the foundations of your defense came on last year, one of your top tacklers, Trayvon Marshall. He was one of the first-team all-conference players for this team. Also, Jock Alston, your dynamic running back, who was a junior last year. Two guys you can really look to on each side of the ball, as well as returning quarterbacks, Robbie Lanier and Dustin Midget. Talk us through those guys and anybody else you're going to be looking to after last year's campaign going into this season.
Yeah, and those first two guys, and again, I've been around this game a long time, and certainly I'm happy they're playing in the blue and gold, if you would. But they're as good as I've been around at this level. Trayvon Marshall, came in here as a freshman and played well above the call of duty, if you would, as a freshman. And we're going to look to him to grow quickly as far as leadership roles, as far as, style of defense and temperament and aggressiveness to the football, things that he brings to the table naturally, hopefully through his leadership, our coaching, and his know-how. Maybe we all 11 become like that, and that is the cry to get there. Jay, I mean, you said it. I mean, he's as dynamic, and I'm a humble guy. I look at him, and I've been around and seen some great running backs, especially at this level, the last league I was at. I'd put him up against anybody. I got to think he's the best running back in the country.
Wow, that is high praise.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been around this game a long time, and he's special. And then the quarterback play, I mean, the beauty of those two guys, they're both going to be juniors. They both played. They both performed well at times in the offense. They both have that, again, year two in a system. I think they're only going to grow and get better. The skill set is there. The perfection or perfecting it certainly is something we're going to work on through camp. But it is a great relaxing comfort knowing you have two juniors that have played and have played well.
Well, just breaking it down, obviously the quarterback position, one of the top positions people are looking out for, even the ones that maybe don't know the team so well, that's one they're going to key on. Tell us a little bit more about Lanier and Midget and what kind of each one brings to the table?
They're kind of the same as far as skill set. They got big time arms. They're bigger kids. They're athletic for their size. They can handle escaping the rush and getting out of the pocket and getting you some rushing yards. You know, they ain't going to be somebody we do the Oregon stuff with, of ride and read and do, but we do a little bit enough to be dangerous. But they're very, I mean, they're almost the same guy, you know. The perfection in honing in their skills is, you know, going to set one apart from the other. And that's what camp's all about. I mean, it's a great situation to have two guys that are very good competing against each other.
Of course,
going to make each other better.
Yeah, and that can lead to everything in camp. Everybody competing against each other, and it's great. Looking forward to the season. An extra conference game this year that gets added on, so now you're going from 7 to 8 conference games. Also, you're going to be playing a Thursday night game this year at home, which is now going to be called Bishop's Field, it looks like. So no, you're still playing at the Rocky Mount Athletic Complex, but now the actual field is going to be called Bishop's Field. Talk a little bit about that. And I remember we discussed some last year about how big that was for recruiting to have your own kind of home stadium, and now that it's going to have really a name to go with it.
Yeah, and certainly I do not know where the talks are. I mean, certainly saw the article in the paper. I don't know how finalized anything is. I'm not privy to all that information, but certainly, you know, as we spoke a year ago, the big thing is having a home, being able to walk into your own stadium, if you would. This is where we play, and that's a big thing for retention purposes. And just, you know, the one thing I want to do is protect my guys, I mean the team, and anything we can make their experience here at Wesleyan a better experience, that's great. And certainly appreciative of the city, all they're doing to make this thing happen. I mean, they did a great job with the grounds last year and painting the field, and I mean, there was a great atmosphere down there, and I am very pleased with, you know, that side as far as the city and what they do for Wesleyan football.
You drew some great crowds last year. Hopefully you can draw some more again. You got a couple Saturday night games, and of course, like we said, that Thursday night game should be a lot of fun for you guys, especially at the D3 level. That doesn't happen a whole lot.
Yeah, and it was a scheduling kind of conflict, and you know, I got to thank CNU and you know, to change their schedule up a little bit. I mean, I know that was something kind of a favor, if you would, to play on a Thursday night, and but it'll be a fun atmosphere, and I think it'll be a good, you know, hopefully get all the fans out there and come watch a Thursday night football game, a good product here in town.
You said year one was the whirlwind of seeing who can play, you know, who has character. What's the overarching goal for year two?
Besides winning more football games, you know, certainly developing more of the structure of the program. You know, again, it's tough to try to, you know, lay down the law here and try to get to know this guy and know what makes him tick. You know, the structure of the program and who Wesleyan football is going to be about. We're going to be about running, hitting, tackling, playing a physical brand of football, and this ain't powder puff. I mean, this ain't flag football, and you know, I like to get after it, and that's who we're going to be. And discipline is big. I mean, discipline to stay on sides whenever it's 4th and 1. Discipline to make sure that you're playing to the whistle and not having a late hit either side of the football. That is the biggest key right now. That's the key element to our football team. If we have discipline within our ranks, we're going to win a lot of football games.
Well, Coach, here's to you winning a lot of football games this year, and here's to us talking to you about it as the season progresses in our Bishop's Corner segments, and we hope to have you on a lot more on our phone conversations like we did last year.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, and now let's throw it back to the studio.